would love to start by having you walk me through some of these beautiful pieces. I know
Sure.
this is, we've handpicked some of your favorites from the show, right?
We have, yes.
Wonderful.
So the Capulets are in red and the Montagues are in blue. So what I pulled, and then we have neutral characters like the Prince and Friar who live in a black and white world. So I pulled those here to show you. This is a metaverse where the mix-up is Verona, which is the original location of Romeo and Juliet, plus the actual location we're in, which is DC. So that gave me liberties to pull from Italian designers. So think Versace, think Prada, Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana. So you'll see a lot of glitzy bits like spread throughout, some fabric embroidery details, and the craftsmanship of the fabric and the clothes are very important in this because it's all supposed to be couture.
Right.
This is royalty, this is nobility. It's money, very expensive. So here we have an example of Friar's jacket. And this is before we're going to do more details to it. Draping and shapes, drapes and shapes are an element of this world. That's very much pulling from Shakespearean Elizabethan time. That's me just trying to throw that into the mix as well.
Of course.
So here we have Prince's Tux with a mock-up of a cape over it.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like I'm a scavenger type of designer, so I love to find things and thrift them and then add things to them to make them look glitzy and expensive. I wanted to point this out because there are several thrift shops, especially in Baltimore and in Maryland, that I love, and you find like gorgeous bits like this. This was $12.
Wow,
And
stunning.
it's actual silk and embroidery. Some people don't know what they have.
It's giving me like very like Art Deco-y vibes. Like, I don't know, like something between the 20s and 30s. This might be like a slip dress someone would wear. I don't know if I'm wrong on that period.
No, you're
piece, but
absolutely right. Yeah,
it's
and
beautiful.
this is a Juliet piece for her balcony scene. If you want to throw that in there, but
It's gorgeous.
I also pulled Romeo's clothes because the details of these I felt like the clothes are expensive, but he made them his own. So here we have a thrifted jacket that we cut and cropped for him. We gave him just a normal casual hoodie, but in the world where Supreme or like $500 hoodies, we're trying to like we look thrifty, but it is expensive. All of his clothes are actually thrifted from online sellers via Poshmark or Depop is another big one. Just sellers like that.
I feel like my mom had something like this in the early 90s. Yeah.
And we changed we like make our own bits, so we changed out the buttons.
Yeah.
And
Actually, while we have this out, you had mentioned earlier being a scavenger designer. Can you talk to us about what that means again?
Sure. So these buttons came from my own stock. This jacket came from my own stock. So I just have a collection of curated items like this slip that I think needs a home and will eventually be used. And then in terms of just elevating the design and making it
your own embellishments
our own thing. Yeah. So this kind of looks a little cheap, but we're gonna add more heat set Swarovski rhinestones and things like that to really jazz it up. Lace details, we'll put those on. And
also from the stage, everything costume looks so fancy, because you're not seeing it, the light is catching it, it looks so sparkly. And
I want to these are details that you won't see from stage, but these little embroidery moments that I like to make pop in different ways. So it's really beautiful to be able to find old clothes, give it another life in this way, and then restore things that I like to find. So
yeah. I was going to ask about that one. I saw the ruffle down there.
Right. This is our nurse. So we're taking a spin off of just the house, the house help and the apron style. So her apron is actually a full body sweater. Cute. That splits open. and she wears this floral chiffon over it.
I love that dress.
So yeah, it's like a little spin off of an apron dress and a pinafore.
Yeah.
And it just lives over this gorgeous, expensive printed tulle. So even the nurse has some style in her little pearl detail.
Mm-hmm.
And she lives in an orange color, which is in between the capulets and has like a contrast.
Yeah.
I love a contrast color. So,
do you have a lot of experience playing with color in this particular way, where there's...
when it comes to color story, I love showing the same thing differently, if that makes sense. But in this case, we have a bichromatic palette. But I have so many blues that I can play with on the one side. So Mercutio, Benvolio, all the other characters that are part of the Montague world are a version of blue that is not the actual blue of the family, which is the robin's egg or sky blue. And then I went scarlet and like dark vino red for the capulets, and then for all their staffers, a version of that and in the oranges. I love color, but I love a tight color palette, so this worked out really well where I can play with a few colors in many different ways.
Yeah, I love that. With such attention to detail. Can you tell me about this piece over here?
Sure, yes. So this piece, along with several other suits in the show, came from a store called What About Suits. They have 2 locations in Maryland, one in College Park and one in Baltimore, and I recommend them for any wacky, fun suit that you need, because I love supporting small businesses. And this is a mock-up of what we are thinking for the prints. So we have just, inexpensive fabric draped over that we'll take and use it to make a pattern with more brocades or a silk for that.
So keep it as a blazer, but also have kind of like a cape
element. That's split capes. So you see her sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of play on gender in this, which I had a lot of fun with. So Tybalt is played by a woman, Mercutio is played by a woman, the prince is played by a woman. And it was really fun to incorporate that power suit and I love wide leg palazzo pants and a 2-piece set and jumpsuits. So this was really great.
Yeah, I love it. It's also giving me like 80s like tennis player, preppy New England
vibes.
Yes,
yeah, you see it. Yeah, very Saint Laurent.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything else on this rack or in general, that you feel like is a standout clothing piece before we move to...
I do have to point out Romeo's pants, because I think it was Dolce & Gabbana that did a collection of quilted pants. Originally I wanted these to be quilted denim, but these were shopped, and I pulled buttons, little cameo buttons and pearls from my own stock that then were hand sewn each on. So even if it's not expensive couture or a expensive brand, it's like every piece in the show has a bit of couture element to it, because we really took it, and the stitchers here are making it beautiful and putting their own detail onto it. So we're using pearls as chains, and
I love that.
Men are wearing pearl necklaces, big old earrings. So it really is fun to play on gender and just use unexpected, surprising accessories.
Yeah. Well, like what you were saying before, kind of streetwear mixed with, couture kind of elements.
And bending all the rules of fashion.
I love it.
As I'm bridging the gap between costume design and fashion, I started my own brand, so that is genderless and no rules, and the slogan of it is very much, if you love it, wear it, and wear it proud. So I feel like this design was super perfect for that vibe and that way. And so far everyone it's been well received by actors too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He gets married in these. So these are his wedding pants.
Yeah.
That moment of nothing to see here, going to church.
Very bridal.
Very bridal. Yes.
Love it.
This is more capulet oriented here. I just shopped this fabric today because after fittings yesterday, there was an impromptu decision and question to myself if I'm building a smoking jacket for Lord Capulet. So that was exciting. I have a fabric shop that I love called Sarah's Fabrics in Maryland that is perfectly placed between Baltimore and here that I like to go to. So they're like kind of like the garment district of here in Maryland. So I always find good stuff there. So I have this black velvet at home with rose detail embossing that I'm going to use for the collar.
Gorgeous.
Will it happen? We'll see. They also have these we have a lot of moments, like I said, where we're putting embellishments on clothes that are already made and thrifted just to elevate them and make them a little more expensive looking. So a part of that is finding fun appliques and things to just cut and paste. It's almost like Frankensteining things together.
It's a verb. We're making it a verb.
Thank you. I love that. But there is a jacket of Juliette's that I do want to put little rosettes down the sleeves and add just a little more as a touch because it's all black. And the Capulets are in a black, white, red palette, whereas the Montagues are in a white, blue, beige palette. So it's a little more lighter neutrals. Some people are double cast, so we have a moment where we have guests in the party scenes. So these are moments of just what they're going to be wearing for the party. But these are Capulet shoes because he needed a very bright red moment. He's pretty much in all black except for his jacket and his shoes. Secret to my balance is you put, if you're going to dress monochromatically, which you already know, I don't have to tell you this, but you have like a little yellow up here and a little yellow down there, or like a little red up here. So he has his jacket and I like to keep balance in that way.
You try to keep something in the top and something in the bottom?
Exactly, yeah.
To do that.
So you have, yep.
But shoes though. I didn't do that. I should have done yellow shoes.
No, it's okay, but you have your eyeshadow and your blue
I mean,
eyes
you were also in this palette today.
I'm totally monochromatic
100%.
today.
One of my faves.
We had a lot of things built for this show by some amazing draper friends that are based in both New Jersey and New York. So again, back to my scavenger self, these are fabrics that came out of my stock.
This one's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
So cool. Well, they're all beautiful, but
we have a Juliette will be in a bustier. This, when it's spread out entirely, it just looks like pink marble, gold kind of streaming through it. And this will be Juliette's wedding gown. You know, I clearance shop this. I like to buy the whole roll if it's available. This actually came from Joann's. I was shocked. I was like, you know, sometimes they have good stuff. This is a shrug that we're making for Nurse.
I was gonna say the in-between character, eh?
Yeah, you know, everyone needs the same amount of attention and detail. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So with the bridal gown, we found these came from Mood in New York. We're gonna make a trim that outlines the whole gown in just this. So if you can imagine, there's like a cape and hem and pants. So this will be just a little moment of glitz that lives over that. Juliette also, her top of show look is being made. So I love a brocade, can you tell? This is Lady Capulet's Act 2 gown. Beautiful. And then we also had a few pants made. Okay, Juliette's in pants. She's in pants a lot. So we have some custom spin-off of cargo pants. Barrel style cargo pants is kind of what I've designed there.
Love it.
That out of this beautiful twill. And then these will be Tybalt's pants, the darker side.
Very cool. So everything's being custom made up in New York, you said?
Yeah, we had final fittings for those, or we had fabric fittings for those later last week. So they're still there and coming soon. So I'm excited though, because you know the turnaround was very quick. I feel we're already in tech next week, so it's been a pretty busy past couple of weeks. But we started this journey, I feel, weeks before that. So it takes a village.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time.
What is like as you were talking about how a lot of the outfits are pretty basic, right? And then you start embellishing or adding in things to work within that character's vibe or storyline, etc. How many custom tweaks would you make for a main character, a Romeo or Juliet normally, given if you have time and bandwidth? But just because I get the feeling that your creative process probably is never done, and I can see you even adding something like in a final moment because you just want it to be perfect. But what's like a general amount of times you might look at an outfit again and go, okay, I need, one little red something to go in his lapel to match these shoes to go with the vibe, or whatever the case might be.
I mean, it happens every time I have a fitting, I feel, with actors, because that's when you get to see that's when they get to feel the costume, that's when they get to move in it,
right?
And that's when you can see, oh, this jacket didn't embellish the whole back, so something has to happen there. And thinking about that, also I like to hear actors' feedback too, so if they nothing extreme, like, oh, I don't think this should have sleeves, but but we can talk about that too. But I like to hear their feedback in terms of what's comfortable, what feels good, so I'll make adjustments both on the look of it and then also on their comfort.
Yeah, absolutely. Has anyone surprised you with some piece of feedback they came back with specifically for this production where you were like, oh, I didn't think about that, and then you're now crafting something to fit them?
Actually, well, yeah, the smoking jacket was a bit of a surprise that he's not wrong. Something that he's in we have a couple, house moments or moments where it's him in Paris in an office and he's just at home comfortable. So it wouldn't be his streetwear look. Or just his politician look is kind of the world of the metaverse of this. So.
Yeah, the comfy clothes for the bourgeoisie. Yeah?
Exactly, yeah, which is a smoking jacket and fully custom and made by hand out of expensive silks. So I think that was the closest or the most recent surprise.
Yeah.
So
when we were walking in and saw a little bit of a rehearsal, we saw a very big hat.
You did.
Can you show us that hat and tell us about that?
Oh my gosh, yes. So this is the mock-up, almost final version of Prince's hat. Why is it a giant disc? Because I wanted a version of a crown that took up a lot of space and was just loud and spoke for itself. So should I put it on?
Yes, please.
Okay. So she'll wear it at an angle,
wow.
I think.
Yeah.
And right now it's just, it's still an R&D process, but...
She wasn't holding it. She was gesticulating and it was staying on.
She took it and she really worked with it,
Yeah.
So, iconic moment here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then imagine her in her tux.
Yes.
With her cape and
that's
her
a vibe.
We're thinking a cane.
What kind of shoes?
The shoes are a patent black leather loafer with a velvet detail.
So no color, just black. That's
all
just
black and white.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's the absence of color in the royalty court in this world. So,
thank you. I was excited to see that one.
Of course, thank you for asking.
Of course,
one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
so can't wait to see it.
Well, and I think we were talking about that, do things that up close look larger than life when you're seeing them from a stage, but it really did. It felt like a very accentuated moment, which was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shopped like a Capulet guest dress moment.
Yeah.
Which naked wearable. I
love the kind of mesh.
Yes, I can't be in a Nordstrom Rack. It's so great because it's just. I feel like Nordstrom Rack, any of those department stores that are basically large brand rejects, are where I thrive. I just love shopping in that and finding cool things. So this will be a base layer to then a drape or some sort of capelet.
Yeah, I feel like a kind of lightweight mesh, like Ronnie Cobo, Simon Miller. I feel like those are always that kind of. It's not bodycon anymore. It's still slinky, but it's like
just kind of bodycon. Oh,
yeah. Well, I don't know.
I hear that.
But I just see these all the time, and I love them. I think they're they're flattering to any, I think, body size or
I agree.
figure, male or female. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So you had mentioned that you started your own fashion line. Can you tell me about it?
I did. It's called Ronnie X. I started it in quarantine. It's 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago now.
Time flies.
It does. And it really sat dormant for a couple years as I was prototyping the first collection, but then theater picked back up. So I kind of set it aside, and up until this year where I wrote a business plan, I did a marketing strategy and some research, and we got some hype for it, and I just featured it in New York Fashion Week this past weekend.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So the first collection is up. It's called Blossom. I'll give you my website, and it has all that, and so I'm really excited because like I said, the vibe of it all is breaking rules, bending rules. If you love the clothes, just wear it, and the fit of it is very important to me. So making people feel comfortable in themselves is all of what it's about.
Yeah. How did you feel it was received at New York Fashion Week?
I think it was well received. You know, it was my first time, but so far so good. It's only been a week and a half since, so I'm just still processing the vibes and the feels.
Yeah, yeah. You got to stay in the glow.
Gotta stay in the glow.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Ride
That's
the
amazing.
wave. Thank you.
Exactly. That's right. Did you have a favorite piece that someone wore that you were just so excited to finally see?
I did. The first collection is called Blossom, so I named each piece after a flower, and Lotus is a dress that is 2-piece. That is a pencil skirt with bugle bead curtain going down. It's really beautiful.
What color?
Lavender, purple, and gray.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so.
Same color palette. Okay, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I guess you can't technically call that monochromatic, but it's a similar, they're in the same color family, right? Probably.
Yeah. You would like it. It's got some bright colors. There's a fuchsia moment that we named Violet. Magnolia is a 2-piece tracksuit that is quilted chenille. And so I'll show you pictures.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you
amazing.
so much. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.